Thoughts from the trail. I'm Scott Anderson.
Good morning from the trail. I am deep into behind Provo Canyon, up by Buffalo Peak, in a most beautiful area at most times. However, I hit it today at a time after we've been through some drought conditions and and flowers that naturally die anyhow, but you can see behind me all the brown there. And yeah, while it's not my preferred way to see this area, in itself it has its own beauty, as there are wide open fields of these brown dying flowers, wildflowers. But today I am thinking about division. And I was on a walk 2 days ago where I was on one side of a fence, and it's a pathway that goes along a railroad track, and they have the fence up with barbed wire to obviously keep people safe and keep them out of the train tracks and out of the way of the train, right? So, but while I was there, ignoring the safety issue around the track, I was feeling this sense of division. I was feeling like, wow, I'm limited by this fence that was created by somebody from going over to the other side. And while I was walking on my side of the fence, I was noting, oh, there's some interesting wildflowers and a few wildflowers still blossoming. And by just quickly glancing over at the other side, because of this division, I just initially noticed just some of the ugliness of the other side. But then, after careful review and inspection, I noticed that there were also wildflowers on the other side. In fact, I found a good-sized bush of wildflowers, and I'll show it here in the video. And it made me think about big picture ideas and even small picture ideas in our daily lives. There are many ways that we have created divisions in our world. An obvious way is through borders. We, through the construct of man, create these artificial borders to create boundaries between countries, which is a form of division. In our social settings, maybe we have cliques or we have expectations about social status, and those also are a way of creating division. And what happens sometimes is, oh, I just heard a snake scurry by. What happens sometimes is, because there's divisions, we develop a form of a squad mentality where we only have tunnel vision towards the things that are in our group, or on our side of the fence, or on our side of the division. And those are constructed, man-made divisions. We create those, much like the entity that put up the fence on the path that I was walking on. And so I invite us to open up our eyes, be aware of the groups and divisions that we participate in. And I'm not saying it's bad to do that, but what I'm challenging us to do is to make sure our eyes are open so that we can see what's outside of our division as well. And much like I did the other day on my walk, oh, I think I heard another snake. Much like I did on my walk, I was able to find beauty on the other side of division. And much like through my travels around the world, and also most recently to China, I busted a lot of myths that I have about the way the world is. So by traveling to other countries, I was able to see firsthand, from my own perspective, with my own eyes and my own ears, what the country is like and what the people are like, and the food and the natural resources, everything. And so in a way, I was able to break down the barriers of division of not only borders, but also distance can also be a division. And then I also think one of the more potentially fun ways that we create division in our lives is through, for instance, our our affiliation with the sports teams that we love. For instance, I'm a huge Philadelphia fan, so love my Philadelphia sports teams. And so we focus generally very deeply on our own teams, and we'll know the players, we'll know information about them. But many of us, and mainly, and also including myself, we may not know much about the other team. And one of the things that I have really come to respect and try to emulate myself are people who can be ardent fans of whoever their team is, but then yet also respect and understand the talent and the greatness and the capabilities of other teams as well, without just being derisive, which typically happens between rival sports entities. While that's a lighthearted one, it does exemplify what I'm trying to make here as a point today, which is I invite us to think differently about the groups, the divisions, the cliques, the supports, our affiliations, and not to say get rid of the affiliations, but to challenge ourselves to open our minds and our eyes and our ears to understanding those who are not within our quote-unquote divisions. I can only see good coming from that because knowledge helps us understand, it gives us empathy, it gives us the ability to better communicate and work with and cooperate. And I know particularly I love it when someone takes the time to understand me better. And I'm certain that as we work to gain understanding outside of our own unique divisions, that will also be appreciated. It just seems like the right thing to do. Well, I invite you to think about that today. I'm going to continue to think about it as I hike along this just beautiful mountain range here. And I'll see you next time on the trail. It's a frog. It's a salamander. Hold on. Let me show you this. Look at that. Can you see it? Can you see it there? Hello. Wow, that's pretty cool. It's not moving. Look at that.